Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's lecture. To those who are on Zoom and those who are here at the center. So tonight, the topic is the power of love. Sister Rona will be sharing and some of her experience on how to use the power of love. And so to discover what power this is and how to use it. And just a few reminders for us that things that happens at the center is the sanctuary of peace. It's a half an hour meditation from Monday through Thursday. You can come by the center and sit in the meditation room. There will be some music playing and also meditation commentary that happens from Monday through Thursday. You can come and invite your friends to come. And every day from Monday through Friday, there is a Power Boost lunchtime meditation that happens, that's online. You can connect on Facebook and watch it live if you are home or at work. It's designed for those who are working and usually at that time they're taking the lunch break. It will be good to stop what you're doing for the day for 15 minutes and listen to this powerful meditation. That's from Monday through Friday. For the programs, other programs happening at the center, there will be a 2-day meditation course, The Invisible World of Truth. It is an in-person event. So it will be on Saturday and Sunday, March 30 and 31st. So you can register for that program and also tell your friend. And there will be a workshop this Saturday on March 23rd from 12 to 1:30. It will be in person as well as on Zoom online if you cannot make it. And again, share with your friends. And those on Zoom, you will be free to unmute if you have something to share, or you can say something or ask a question. Okay, so now we have Sister Rona with us. Let's see what we can discover with her. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Since COVID, it is an extra pleasure to see people in person. And it is also an extra pleasure to see people on Zoom because that was not so much before COVID. So it is double extra pleasure. And tonight's topic, actually, the accurate title is The Power to Love, not the power of love, but the power to love. So tonight's session is meant more as an exploration, but also as a means to kind of check yourself inside. How much power to love do you have? And how can we increase it if it isn't there? How can we uh, use it better in our lives? But before we go there, let us have a moment of silence, a minute of silence. And we just mentioned what the topic is today in the session, and somebody typing, what is the topic? So let's have a moment of silence and reflect on this. What is your power to love? Thank you. We will touch on different areas. What are obstacles in love? And who is it that is loving? And whom are we loving? Or what are we loving? But before we go into that area, what would be a way to know how much is your ability to love? Anyone's ability to love.
How much you can sacrifice for one another?
Sorry?
How much you can sacrifice for one another?
How much you can sacrifice for one another? Okay.
It also means how much giving you are, cooperative you are,
How
be
much giving you
nice,
are, how much cooperative you are,
nice and patient.
nice and patient you are, how much power you have to tolerate. Someone here is saying.
Yeah, that comes along with that.
Hmm? So, one way to measure your power to love, maybe not practically, but as a thought experiment, at least you can try and do. Someone who is extremely nasty to you, extremely nasty, can you still love? That would be a good indication of how much power you have. not to measure. But this is a good thought experiment. Power. One thing is the power of love and the power that is there in the experience of love or the feelings of love. But your power to love, you can measure by how much you can tolerate, by how much you can still love, even though someone may not be to your liking or not behaving to your liking. Now, of course, there's a whole bigger picture to this. And it is not that we are just all of a sudden loving and will be loving to everyone, everywhere, anyhow, whatever way. There is a bigger picture to it, and we're going to explore that. But in today's world, this word is a word that is used so much. It is used, misused, and abused most of the time, I think. But it is used every song, every book, every movie. It is there inside. And there is such a longing for that experience. But even though there is so much wish to experience, to be loving, to be loved, and there's so many theories and so many stories around it, somehow it still seems to elude us. So much effort people make to be loved, so much effort people make to love, and still it eludes us. So maybe there's something we are overlooking, something that we're not understanding, something that we're not grasping, and so much heartache going around. So much, one simple thing to see that something is absolutely wrong is the divorce rate. Now, these mostly are people who intensely love and pledge lifetime love. Sometimes after 1 year, after 2 years, what happened to that love? Hmm? Sometimes after a bit more longer time, and sometimes so nasty, unpleasant. Sometimes people become enemy. The violence, even physical violence, verbal violence. What happened to that love? Maybe we could ask ourselves, was it truly love or was it something else? Was it maybe dependency? Were there other motives? Or was there lust? Whatever. But we need to reflect on these things a bit deeper if we truly want to experience love and get rid of these myths that we have in our mind about love. Let's go over to the board. I will try and simplify this topic and get a grasp on what is going on or what might be going on. Let's take a simple example. Of Johnny. I hope no one here is called John. I don't mean this personal. Can you see? Or you can move if you would like to. So John is a student, new first year student. He's come to New York to study from the Midwest. New life, new environment, new people, university, excited. and with lot of energy to start fresh and new. He has come to study what? Engineering? New life. Nice. There is also Susie. Susie is also from somewhere down south, new in New York City, new life. She's come to study arts, excited, everything new. And she is creative, artistic, more right brain oriented. And she likes to experiment and do new things and express her creativity in different ways, but also through her own appearance. So one day she paints her hair red. Does it affect John? No, it doesn't affect John at all. No problem. She can paint it red. So a week later, she paints it blue. Does it affect John's mood? No, he is stable, peaceful. He may be even finding it cute. Maybe finding it amusing, interesting, creative, cute. But it doesn't affect his mood. He doesn't get nightmares over it. He doesn't get stressed or peaceless. Another day she comes and she paints some yellow stripes in it. Nice, interesting. He is the embodiment of stability. And this doesn't affect his mood at all. So after 2 years, they get to know each other better. They become friends. They become good friends. After 4 years, they are married and they both graduated. And John gets his first job in some big engineering company. And they are invited for some ceremony. Everyone is invited with their spouse. And John excited, new job. And Susie thinks, okay, let me give him a surprise. I'll specially do something nice to go to the party. So she comes home with purple and white polka dots on her hair and says, let's go to your jobs opening, whatever ceremony. Will John still be the embodiment of stability? You don't think so? That would affect him. Now it affects him. Now he would not be so peaceful and stable and stress free. Most probably not. Why? What has happened?
Expectations.
Yeah, very good. When they started out, he had no expectations. So everything was nice and cute. Interesting. It didn't bother him, it didn't affect his mood. Now, they are in a loving relationship. And now it is different. Her behavior affects him. Is that love? No, we all become. It shouldn't be, at least. Does this happen in New York City or anywhere for that matter? Huh? Not in New York City. So one definite thing that has happened is expectations have ex expectations have come in. We don't doubt that there was love. There is love. There is love. There is some special chemistry going on, whatever. But on top of that, there is also the growing expectations. And what is the seed of expectations? Ego. In this case, there is at least some part is there, a feeling of mine. I have a right now over you. You should behave in such a way that I like. And she is now in charge to fulfill those expectations or not. That means she is boss of his emotions, of his mood. She did not choose to be boss. And he did not really choose to have a boss either. But we just get sucked into these dynamics. This, what is another word for this? She decides his mood. She decides how he feels. What is another word for that?
Bondage. Depends, co-dependent.
Huh? Dependence. Dependence.
Bondage.
Huh? Another word?
Bondage.
Actually, do you mind using the mic? No, because they don't hear. No, we're just trying. No, because they don't hear on Zoom. It is for the Zoomers that they can participate also.
Thank you for letting me express my thoughts. I think, one of the most important things as well, speaking of unconditional love, because I see when it's genuine love, it is unconditional at the same time. So when you asked, is this really love? So I don't think it's unconditional love. There are many layers. We can talk about a lot of things, but emotional intelligence is very relevant regarding any relationship. If you lack emotional intelligence, that can lead to a lot of, conflicts and so on. Also, the lack of being able to compromise in a relationship. It is very relevant, compromising. So I just wanted to express my...
Very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
You have to have your own individuality and have a healthy relationship. So for that, the person who should respect for who you are instead of changing or respect, care, trust and care is actually the love. Love means that's what it is.
So what is the root of expectations?
Maybe insecurity also.
Attachments?
Yeah.
Lack of self-knowledge?
Ego.
Desire? Someone that's right in control?
Me and mine.
Laziness? Laziness? Huh?
I think there is fear of judgment. John is now afraid he'll be judged by his his colleagues as to how his wife looks with all that polka dot hair. So as he didn't mind her, he was okay with her, but now he's afraid of being judged.
Fear of judgment?
And fear of losing the person also. They try to control this because of their own insecurities. Then they think the person won't leave. Some people, they try to do that.
One thing that is very useful, no, when we have these type of sessions and these types of discussions, don't think of other people. Use this to check yourself, because this is one thing that very often happens. No, we talk about certain spiritual things and we check others. Let us use it to check ourselves. How much is my power to love? No? And where are the blockages within myself? Let it not be just an intellectual, nice discourse, which can be useful, but use it to grow yourself. Then it is useful. Yeah. One. Yeah.
Especially in this, I live in an environment, in an artistic environment. I am a dancer, and my expectations comes because I have a lot of wishes. I have a wish to be good, to be better, to improve, and to be applauded, to be loved. So I think it's a mind of full of wishes.
A mind full of wishes. And the other question is how do you call this? What is this when there is this? Her behavior decides how he feels.
Bondage?
Bondage. Very good. What is another word for bondage? Dependency. Yeah. What else? Another word.
Attachment.
Attachment. Still another word.
Ego.
Ego. Jail. Jail. I mean, not necessarily physical jail, but one is in a jail. Someone else decide how you feel, or something else is in charge of how you feel. It is a form of jail. It is a form of bondage. Now, Susie did not choose to be his prison officer. She did not choose to. But the dynamic is such that she finds herself in a position that her behavior influences it. And I'm just giving this example. No? It is not that Susie is unaffected by his behavior. These things will be both sides, but just to simplify the dynamics that happen. And his deeper feelings of love and appreciation gets mixed with expectations. And then those expectations, she's in charge to fulfill them or not. She might not even be aware of some of the expectations, but her behavior affects how he feels. And so that love that was there, that appreciation, that feeling of cute and entertaining, it gets mixed with feelings of irritation or frustration, or feeling that she doesn't understand me, or she doesn't feel I'm worthy enough to behave herself accordingly. All kinds of complicated thoughts and feelings now get mixed into that original feeling of appreciation, of love, of liking. And after a while, that may take over, because these expectations become stronger and stronger, and more and more and more and more that are likely not to be met. And even if they are met, it can be withdrawn at any time. So insecurity and uncertainty, all of that get mixed in. And that original love, it's completely overshadowed. And it can very easily can be mutual. Now, why do we do that? Why do we love, and we want love, But why do we get into this? And expectation is one area. Expectation can grow into desires and demands. No? It's just stronger expectations. Becomes even worse. And then my demand are not met, then here is a fist. That kind of behavior can easily come. Easily, maybe not in any case, but it can spiral down into that. So what is going on here?
Self-love, because we lack self-love, so we expect somebody to love us.
We lack self-love, so we expect
we
somebody
lack,
to love.
yeah, we lack self-love, so we expect somebody to love us. Pressure from society. Yeah.
And conditioning also, the way the culture, and then that's how we are conditioned, like cultural conditioning and societal condition.
Can't really understand. It's very difficult to understand what you're saying. But if one is full inside, if one feels complete and full inside, then you're entering into a relationship not to take, but to give, to share, and to share a life together, or experiences together, or a friendship together, or just a meeting together. But you're not there to take. You're there to give. If you are full. Now, if if both are empty, what will happen? Then both are expecting, both are needing, both are demanding, and both will end up with a heartache. No? It is simplified, but this is what is happening in today's world. And love then becomes a business. If you give me what I want, if you give me what I need, if you give me what I expect, if you give me what I demand, I love you. If you don't, I take you to court. Yeah. Now, if both are like that, then both take each other to court. You can understand what mess we end up in. Now, we are not like that innately. And most of us, we are just innocently venturing into interactions, friendships, relationships, or we find ourselves in, family type of relationships, siblings or parents, children. We find ourselves in relationships where dynamics are like this. But we are not bad inside. We're just wanting to love, be loved, wanting to grow, wanting to be good, wanting to express good. But we find ourselves in these kinds of downward spiral. And then we find ourselves sometimes doing, saying things that are not so nice. And that love is finished. That power to love is finished. Understand, just to get clear, now can we enter into interactions, into relationships, into encounters without expectations?
If we're flexible, if you're willing to.
If you're flexible, if you're willing to accept. Yeah. Someone is saying it is very difficult to know yourself. I would not say it's difficult, but it's requires attention, but we have the intentions, but we are not necessarily wise. We should do someone is saying here, we should do a course before we love someone. The University of Love, but who will teach? So this is one area, no, of the contamination of our interactions with each other by expectations, which grow over time. And these things grow in all relationships, even parent-children relationship these days, where you think it is unconditional. No. There are big expectations from parents of their children. And if children don't fulfill those expectations, parents are stressed out, parents can even get angry, parents feel sad and depressed. And that puts a burden on the child. Vice versa, there are all kinds of complications. Under the umbrella name of love. One time I had some colleague sent a patient to me for a while because he went on vacation. And so I saw this lady for about 6 weeks. And this lady is depressed. When I saw her, she was depressed for 10 years. All the time, except in August. But severely depressed, no, in terms of medication and sometimes clinical admissions. But August, she's good. So what happens in August? This was in Holland. Her son comes from Australia and spends time with her. Rest of the year, he's in Australia. He married there. He has children. He has business there. And he's successful. It goes well. He loves Australia. The family is loving. He has a very good life there. But his mother is depressed because she misses him. She wants him to be with her. And so she's okay when he is home, because his home is somewhere else now. And she says, and she doesn't even feel funny. She says she is more happy even if he comes alone without the family. But the rest of the year, on the phone every day, she's sad. Now she has husband. Husband is with her. She has 2 other sons living close by, but she's depressed for the one who is there. So I ask her, what is the, why do you feel like that? She says, I love him so much. I can't bear to not be with him. Now, we can ask ourselves, is this love? His life is good. His only thing missing is his mother, who is in that situation. That is what is nagging. This is dependency, emotional dependency. And we confuse this with love. And these emotional dependencies, these expectations, it diminish our power to love. Because then we feel we need. And then our love is conditional. Now, can we cultivate a mind that doesn't do this? Can we cultivate an inner state that doesn't do this? Is that possible? Okay, yes. Here they are agreeing that it should be. Not everyone, but majority. Now, there is another aspect to this. We can also ask ourselves, who is the one who is loving? And whom are we loving? This is where spirituality comes in. In spiritual knowledge, there is the understanding that we are spiritual beings. We are not bodily beings. We are, maybe I can just use this one. There is a being of consciousness. And I'm just symbolizing consciousness with light, with tiny point. There is a being of consciousness that operates this body. There is a being of consciousness that operates any of those bodies. This body is temporary. There is a moment of birth. There will be a moment of the end of the lifespan of this body. But consciousness is non-physical. Consciousness transcends the limitations of the body or of matter. So the end of this body doesn't mean the end of consciousness. The beginning of this body doesn't mean the beginning of consciousness. And so when I say I love you, Johnny says, I love Susie. What is he loving? Who is he loving? The immortal, timeless, pure being of consciousness, or the body and the human personality created in limited consciousness? Most of the time, if not almost all the time, we completely ignore the being. And we just see the physical person and the physical personality, which is very limited. We experience ourselves as the physical, human, limited personality. And we see the other like that too. And then we say, I love you, completely ignoring who I truly am. Completely ignoring who the other truly is. A being of light, a being of consciousness. Now, when I begin to experience myself through my studies, spiritual studies, through my practices, spiritual practices and practices of meditation, when I begin to experience myself as an invisible, timeless being of consciousness with innate potential of peace, of love, of joy, of wisdom, of power, of harmony, of purity. And I am using this body to play a part, play a game of human life. But I don't need this body in the first place to exist. And my innate value doesn't depend on this either. When I begin to experience myself as that, then my desires and needs diminish. And then every scene in the drama of life is an extra gift. Yeah. And like, for example, you came here, you don't need this. You don't need this light, you don't need this chair, but it is there. It's nice. You don't need this company, you don't need these roses, but it is nice. You appreciate, you like, it is like a gift. But you don't need it. So if we could approach life like that, then you can express potential that is within without getting into bondages. But we have to shift our awareness of true self. Shift that sense of I am this to I am this. And then when you look at others, they also are that. We are spiritual beings. We are souls, beings of light, beings with innate divine potential. We belong to a family of souls. A feeling of brotherhood and a deeper, unconditional love can be there, regardless of the parts that we play. If we can begin to experience ourselves as spiritual beings, as souls, our power to love grows. And if we begin to see others also as spiritual beings, regardless of the part they act out, our power to love unconditionally grows. But this is nice talk. But it has only value when I start to truly practice this. Someone is asking here, can a human love as unconditionally as God? Not a human, but the soul, yes. A soul who is so conscious and sees others also as souls can have those feelings of unconditional love. Yes. In history, of course, there are examples of individuals who were capable of manifesting this kind of love because of their pure soul conscious state. Now, of course, this is long time ago, but we have the example of Christ, for example. Now, even though they stone him, even though whatever they do, put him on a cross, all kind of things, doesn't diminish his love. And we all can have moments and experiences like that. But we need to shift out of that limited thinking about ourselves and about others. Increase your power to love. Then your enemy is not your enemy, but your soul brother. Maybe expressing behavior that is not very appropriate, but you feel yourself as this timeless, godlike, spiritual being. So you don't feel they can harm you. Because you are not this. This is like a vehicle. This is the part that you act out. Part can finish. This will finish. And this will finish. Rona will finish. But the real self moves on.
Why is true love only that which is free of expectation? Can you elaborate?
We did explain already, no? Yeah, with expectations, you will always have disappointments or potential disappointments. So that love is not clean, not pure.
Sometimes the name of love person can be abused or controlling. How do you deal?
In the name of love, someone can be abusive or controlling. And that is not love. That is bully. That's a bully calling it love. We laugh at this, but these are many times for us real life situations and real life experiences, which can be very hurtful. But the deeper message is first empower yourself. Come back to recognizing true self. And come back to coming out of this state of limited perspective on self, limited perspective on life. Begin to recognize and see the beautiful, true being that you are innately. And that I am identifying with this. And I feel if this is good or this lives up to certain standards, then I will be good. And even if at this level we live up to standards that we impose on ourselves, how long will it last? So, for example, say someone wants to be a good doctor and feels if I'm a good doctor, then I am good, then I am fulfilled, then I have attainments, then my life is valuable, then I am respected, then my life is worth. How long will that last? And there will always be someone who will say you're not a good doctor. There will always be someone who criticizes that. So it is always, if we depend on this for ourselves or for our sense of self-worth, for our dignity, it will always be fluctuating. Because we are depending on something that is temporary, something that is perishable. Hey, please take the mic.
I don't know. My English is not good to explain that, but I have an example from my friend.
Is it on the mic?
Yeah. I asked him, he's a dancer. He was a dancer, and I asked him, did you enjoy be a dancer among all these professionals? And he was a beginner, and he said, I was the one that most enjoyed the class. And people always ask me, why you smile and why we are always happy? And he said, because I don't need this. I am here because I have another thing to do. I theater, and the theater asked me to do some dance classes. And so maybe we needed to act like that. Like we go to a place or we have someone, but we are not so in that place or with that person.
The one way to understand this soul consciousness is guest consciousness. We are guests in this physical world. We're just visiting, passing through. You have come from somewhere else and you are complete and whole, and you're just coming to visit. Just like what I'm saying here, you came here, you didn't need all of this. It is nice extra. You enjoy, you can share, whatever, but you don't need it. So whether the chair is white or purple or gray or no chair is also good. You're fine. You're just visiting. If we can have this guest attitude in this world, then everything becomes extra. Even this body is extra. It's an extra gift from nature. So you appreciate, you use it, you learn, you love, nice, but deeper inside, the feeling is, it is extra. Nice gift. Yeah, very good. Very good. We still have some minutes. At present, our model with which we live, and this is worldwide, no, in all cultures, generally our model is at some stage in time, we are born and we are nothing and no one. And we are born, and because of our family and the circumstances in which we are born, we get a body, we get a family, we become someone with a name. And then throughout our life, our value and our sense of self-worth and our sense of achievement and our sense of success depends on what we can get, what we can achieve. And then at some moment in time, the journey ends. And then what happens? I am back to nothing and no one. Because all of this I got. I achieved, I worked for it, or I maybe even just took it or steal it or take it away from others and then put my flag and say mine. And this is kind of a mental construct that we collectively hold about life and about ourselves. I was born, nothing and no one. I become somebody because of this body, because of what I get, the surroundings, my education, my money, my what I house, car, cell phone, Facebook, followers, whatever. I feel this is who I am, and all of that finishes there. So we dread, of course, this moment. But also here, we work so hard, but all of these things are also temporary. They can change. Some might not be achieved at all, ever. And somebody else always has much more. So that also adds to the dissatisfaction within. Spiritual model is very different. The spiritual model is you are an imperishable, immortal, divine being of consciousness, a soul. You have a home, the spiritual dimension. You belong to this family of spiritual beings. You belong to the Supreme. You have everything. You need nothing. But on top of everything you have, you get this nice game to play. You get some toys. And one of the toys you get is a body. Very good. So very sophisticated toy, the body. You take birth in a body, and on top of this body, you get also others around, and a family structure and culture, and it is all extra. It is like a game, sophisticated game, but with lots of toys and lots of experiences, all kind of things. They're like scenes on a journey. And you get to play with all kinds of things. And when the, what is it? Toys R Us closes, closes down, no problem. You remain who you always were. Your home beyond is always there. Everyone is a soul. They are my family, always. When they leave their toys, we remain brothers, spiritual brothers. A being who is innately secure regardless of what happens with the body. The Supreme is the one who is remembered as the ocean of love, the ocean of peace, the ocean of knowledge, who is like parent of all souls, God. Forever, eternal relationship and an eternal bond. And this is extra. And then when Toys R Us closes, you're happy to go home. It was a nice experience. This, if we position ourselves like this, we are beings of love, and love will be natural. Because we don't need anything. We don't expect anything. We don't want anything. We just, if at all we want anything, we just want to play and give. This is a bit revolution inside, but this the spiritual journey, Raj Yoga and meditation aims at shifting from this consciousness to this consciousness and live with this. And then your power to love will be unlimited, like God's. But it helps to expose yourself to God's love through meditation to get a taste of what that is like, what that can be like.
The objective here, what might take away from this is, instead of focusing on the physical realm of things, try to look at.
Can you take the mic so that others can enjoy your question?
Yeah, sure. So I guess from what I understood from this discussion, my takeaway from this was, instead of focusing on the physical realm of things, it's up to us to try and emphasize more or less on the spiritual realm of things, whether it comes to people, whether it comes to events, whether it comes to any experience that you go through in life. And instead of focusing on relationships where you're taking all the time, focus on building yourself up where you get to a point where you don't need any of the external stuff and you're good with yourself, and everything else that comes in is just a bonus where you're happy to give as much as you possibly can. Is that correct?
Yeah. I want to put a few extras to it. Sure. It is correct. But I don't know how to say this, not a but. It is correct, but it is not that we are not aware of this. You are aware of this, you acknowledge and you play the game, but deeper inside there is not the feeling of need. And so it is not just me for myself, it will be, you will naturally want to give and share. That will naturally be there because there will not be any deeper insecurity. And then life will become an art. Life will become an expression of our higher nature inside. And the other thing is, at this moment in time, our mental construct is, if everything and everyone around us is good, I am good. This positioning is, if I am good, I give good. And then things around me and people around me will become good. So our external situations are nurtured by our inner power. And not, I want to be nurtured by external situations. Because if you are in a space like this, people will want to be with you. So it's not that you won't have relationship. It is not that people will not be there. No one, if you are like this, everyone will want to be your friend. Yeah, we do have to stop. Okay. One last question.
Why do we fail to see all of the soul?
Why do we feel we don't pay attention? I really feel we don't make time to consciously remember. This model within ourselves over time has become the default. And so because this is the default, we have to pay attention to shift here and nurture this. But it is an individual journey, but we can help each other on the journey, those who want to. Does this help? Yeah. Your power to love. And in this model, anything here is seen as part of a game. So even somebody opposing you, you will say, okay, let me check my powers to love. Let me check my power to tolerate. Let me check my power to accommodate. Within spirituality, the understanding is to be good and to be loving with those who are loving. That is not a big deal. That is easy. But to be good and to be loving and to be peaceful with those who are not, then there is power of love. Now, I'm saying these things. It is not that I've mastered this. I'm also still studying and a student and just sharing with you. I'm also practicing, but even the practicing and the journey is pleasant. Okay, we have to stop. Just as a reminder, it was announced in the beginning. This Saturday, there is a workshop. I don't know what the title is, but from timeline or time cycle, it is on time and the concept of time from 12 to 1:30, isn't it? Yeah. And we would like to request your help in making the activities of the center known. If there are others who you know who could benefit, we're doing our best since COVID to get back into this room used to be packed on a Thursday. And it is, well, yeah, also Zoom is there, but so if you can share the information about our activities with others, it would be very much appreciated. And end of the month, the last weekend, there is a 2-day meditation course. That is in person. So for those who can come to that, you're most welcome. And you're most welcome to bring your friends or your whoever you think might benefit. Thank you. Enjoy this journey on increasing your power to love. Let's close with a moment of silence.